Hey, everybody, it's Eddie, and I have a special guest with me today. It's so exciting to be with Mickey B. Fresh again. Mickey, thank you so much for joining me.
You're welcome, Eddie. Thank you for inviting me. And it's exciting with the Futureverse.
Yeah, so the reason why Mickey and I are together is because I had Aaron McDonald as my guest yesterday. He's a real technology veteran. He's experienced in managing portfolios over $1 billion in revenue and real special guy building a Futureverse which has a deep integration with XRP and the XRP ledger, both. So we want to talk about that. The video is available to see on my channel, and there's just use case within the digital asset XRP that we want to just maybe embellish on a little bit, because there's a lot going on, not only just improving liquidity, but we've got this activation happening soon with the DEX, which is the decentralized exchange, the XRPL exchange, one of the very first ever out there that is a decentralized exchange. They're going to also bridge over to that market maker, that the automated market maker that's coming. And it also, XRP is the default reward for the node operators on Futureverse. We also see they did this deep integration with a bridge with EVM, so the Ethereum virtual machine. We're going to be able to tap into those smart contracts and DeFi. And they did an amazing immersive company creation, which has the partner of MasterCard. And they've done a first with MasterCard. They are integrating XRP, the digital asset, without the friction of an exchange in the middle. So it's a first direct integration. So it's just some of what we've heard. And I don't know, but I'm very excited about it. Nikki, how about you?
Yes, I'm super excited about this. So ever since I heard about the partnership with Ripple and Futureverse, which is a roll-up of these 9 or 11 different projects and companies that are behind the building out of this root network, which is going to be directly integrated through custom runtimes and act as like a layer 2 to the XRP ledger, and connected also through bridge to Ethereum, really provides XRP as the base token and as the native gas token a whole lot of utility. But what is really the Open-Metaverse? And basically what Futureverse is saying is there's not just one metaverse, then there's not just individual metaverses, there's the metaverse. So Open-Metaverse is the next evolution of internet and digital economy, decentralized, trustless, and community owned. So immersive experience and ownership by the users. So this provides, I just think, a whole new aspect of utility to XRP Ledger's network protocol, and then the asset itself. I mean, it's getting a huge use case here, being the native gas token. So every time somebody submits a transaction on the root network, it's going to be converted into XRP. So that means it's another demand for XRP. So, Crypto Eddie, one thing we've always seen is XRP has always been looked at as like a banker's coin or institutional only. So how does this change the way XRP is maybe perceived by the broader crypto space and community?
Yeah, well, it's not a banker's coin solely, and really the value is going to be in the accumulation of all the projects that utilize the digital asset XRP and the ledger. And so Ripple is just one of those companies. They're just one of what are coming to be many. And this is really the important part or message I want to give, is that we just can't depend on Ripple to build the value of the digital asset. This is going to be part of a greater ecosystem. And the Futureverse is being a layer 1 blockchain, providing those tools for games and assets. But they are a layer 2, if you will, to the XRP ledger, with the way they are integrated with the ledger, and then using the digital asset XRP within their root network ecosystem. So this is fantastic for any XRP holder. And XRP is going to be one of many assets in their basket of royalties, for example, being paid out. But the fact that it is the default one, it'll have a very special position. And this is just one use case of many that they are going to use. So at the end of the day, yeah, utility does matter.
The XRP community is this kind of really powerful, large community out there that hasn't been able to do as many things because the ledger itself has been, still building out those features. Now we can bring all the power of, our Open-Metaverse operating system and smart contracts and our identity system and all of this stuff to those communities so they can start to benefit, and the utility of XRP becomes bigger because they can start to use that inside of these applications and contracts now.
Absolutely. And this is one of the biggest utilities that we've seen to date for XRP here, because you could actually farm XRP by staking as a validator the root tokens, which is the native token for root network, or delegating it. So this really opens XRP up to be a reward token. And it's something we've not seen to date, just the way the XRP ledger is designed, used in that way. So I think this really just amplifies what we see in value in the protocol, right? So that's what XRP is built on. Now it's getting added benefits with that.
Right. You're spot on, because this is a community that is very utility minded. And I think that XRP is the default payout asset for the validator rewards. So
mechanism is essentially transaction fees generate a pool of rewards, and a pool of rewards is then, which is in XRP, is then distributed through the validator consensus mechanism. And in addition to that, we will add in more rewards with the root token, so you'll kind of earn double rewards. And in a sense, if you stake root tokens, you can receive XRP. So it's kind of like farming XRP with root.
Right.
And then if you're, a savvy validator, you might want to create some of these token pools from, say, the ASTO, which is our ASM Alter-State Machine AI protocol, to XRP. And then so when people are paying gas in their ASTO tokens, you're earning, those tokens. And so you can start to build up a basket of tokens in the ecosystem.
Yeah, this is really attractive. Yeah, the staking in the liquidity pools, is it more like a delegation, or is it more like, how does that work?
Yeah, so the network supports delegated proof of stake. So you can either run your own node and stake your own assets, or you can others can stake people to your nodes.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah. Do you see bridging to the XRP ledger for payments?
Yeah, for sure. Payments is a big part of the Futureverse infrastructure and vision. We actually have a business inside of the Futureverse called Immersive.
Yeah, that's what the MasterCard deal you did. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so Immersive is a global MasterCard partner, and what that means is they can essentially take any MasterCard service or product and start to offer it directly to their customers, or as a white label service to other businesses in the Web3 ecosystem. Part of the magic of Immersive is it's the first time that you've been able to link a decentralized payment system directly to the MasterCard without going through an exchange. And so it brings us one step closer to that decentralized finance, because now wherever MasterCards are accepted, you can pay in the currency you have in your wallet. And so we'll be deploying an Immersive instance on the root network. If you have XRP, you can bridge that across. It'll do the automated swap within the AMM, and you can pay via your MasterCard.
Wow. Yeah, that really makes me pause with excitement.
So when we designed the root network, we designed it with this in mind, and we built a bunch of custom runtimes and services that help take away some of those problems, and so that we can get users onboarded without them even knowing, really, because that's the ideal scenario. One of the brand values of the Futureverse is to make technology invisible. And so if we can do that, it can feel like magic. They can do all these new things, and then we can teach them, step by step about what being your own bank is, or what ownership of your identity means, and kind of take them on that journey instead of shoving it in their face. And that's what the Root Network's all about. And the Root token is the kind of governance and staking token within the Root Network. And so that's what allows our community to be participants in running that infrastructure. The other tokens in the ecosystem, and probably a big reason of why we're on here today, is one of those problems we looked at was liquidity. If you're establishing a new network, being able to source liquidity and provide liquidity for transactions in the network is a really big user experience thing. Liquidity, it turns out, is one of the biggest user experience hurdles in Web3. And so instead of trying to solve that ourselves, we partnered up with the XRPL and have integrated XRP into the network. So the network uses a really interesting system for paying gas, which both solves the user experience issue for new users, but also the liquidity issue. And in doing that, we're able to bring new users in a frictionless way, but also provide people like block producers with true value out of the gate. And so how that works is we designed inside the network runtime a thing called a multi-token gas fee exchange. And it means that if you're an application developer and you onboard your user into your game or your application, and you have your own unique token, the user only needs to know about that. In the same way, when they onboard into World of Warcraft, they just have to know about World of Warcraft Gold. They don't have to go and find the gas behind World of Warcraft Gold and buy some of that to make a transaction. They just have to know about your thing. And so the users can pay with that, and this gas fee exchange will automatically swap that in the background for XRP to pay the network gas, and the block rewarders will receive those tokens as a reward. And so we get to solve liquidity because XRP has great liquidity. Block producers get real rewards that are valuable from day one, and users don't have to think about the gas in the network.
But Root Network is more than just a network. It's a whole technology stack of decentralized identity, decentralized delegation, decentralized communications, and decentralized artificial intelligence. And also, as Crypto Eddie said, the payment networks and wallets. So it'll be connected through Immersive in the MasterCard network, which is an issuing as a service platform that supports centralized and decentralized payment experiences for Web3 and dApps.
Yeah, so Immersive is a global MasterCard partner, and what that means is they can essentially take any MasterCard service or product and start to offer it directly to their customers or as a white label service to other businesses in the Web3 ecosystem. Part of the magic of Immersive is it's the first time that you've been able to link a decentralized payment system directly to the MasterCard without going through an exchange. And so it brings us one step closer to that decentralized finance, because now wherever MasterCards are accepted, you can pay in the currency you have in your wallet. And so we'll be deploying an Immersive instance on the Root network. If you have XRP, you can bridge that across. It'll do the automated swap within the AMM, and you can pay via your MasterCard.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, that really makes me pause with
the biggest thing here
excitement.
Is that this Root network is directly integrated into the upcoming XLS30D automated market maker amendment that's going to be part of the XRP ledger and all the side chains. So it's tapping into XRP's liquidity, and that's what XRP does best. It's going to have the DEX order book, and it's going to have these DEX liquidity pools. So every time there's XRP in one of these pools paired to another asset, it's less XRP on the exchange. And this has nothing to do with Ripple. So Ripple might be the partner, but they're not part of you using XRP on Root Network or anyone from the Fluff ecosystem. So this is an established ecosystem and community of, I think it's in their top 3 of accounts of NFT communities. So this is up there with like, Bored Apes and things like that. And this is going to be, attached to the XRP ledger. It's part of our ecosystem now. So I think it's a complex with the technology a little bit, but that's okay. So we're going to start out learning it and understanding it. And then as it develops, because Root Network is in beta phase right now, it hasn't launched fully. And I thought, Aaron McDonald, I think, is a very well-rounded and experienced in the space. So he's put together all these different companies and technologies, and Ripple did partner with them. So this is a big deal, but it's not only about Ripple here. I think that's what Crypto Eddie and I were talking about, is that this is about the next internet and Web3. This is what the Open-Metaverse really is. It's not just about JPEGs. It's about something more.
So when we designed the Root Network, we designed it with this in mind, and we built a bunch of custom runtimes and services that help take away some of those problems, and so that we can get users onboarded without them even knowing, really, because that's the ideal scenario. One of the brand values of the Futureverse is to make technology invisible, and so if we can do that, it can feel like magic. They can do all these new things, and then we can teach them, step by step about what being your own bank is, or what ownership of your identity means, and kind of take them on that journey instead of shoving it in their face. And that's what the Root Network's all about. And the Root token is the kind of governance and staking token within the Root Network, and so that's what allows our community to be participants in running that infrastructure.
Yeah. So currently, the Futureverse is Web3 leading vertical integrated company with this 11 business roll up, and this is the umbrella that's creating a blockchain, layer 1 blockchain, that will be used to build out more games and more assets.
Yeah, and it's an assortment of all different types of companies, from leading AI protocols to non-fungible labs, which created the avatars and the NFTs and the ecosystem behind the fluff world. And then we got decentralized communication protocols like Silo, and then CentraPay, which is Web3 payments. Then we got identity, which I think is going to be really big going into the next phase here of the market maturity. We're going to need identity, but decentralized identity, I think, will be very important. And then there's that immersive, which Crypto Eddie was talking about, the multi-chain payment protocol into MasterCard directly. So this will allow for more utility, more use of XRP and other assets. And then there is a gaming studio. I know that's one of the things recent. And then there's a couple that we don't know yet that haven't been described. But what were some of the recent big partnerships? Because we know that he mentioned FIFA and some others. So they're tied in with some.
Yes, Spotify is also one of the big partners that's been announced. So those NFTs, because there's a lot of NFTs that are having utility and to give use cases to them. And also many of them are going to be able to connect directly to being able to use the Root token, which will then become a financial instrument. So these NFTs are very, very interesting. One of the NFTs has a direct benefit with Spotify now. So they're very focused on getting quality partners with big brands.
They're involved with Warner Music, Snoop Dogg, Muhammad Ali, Timbaland, Keanu Reeves, which is part of the Futureverse Foundation. And I saw today Shaq's brand was also involved with them. So they definitely have a lot of this integration, and they've been talking to a lot of those big names in this space. So this could be one of the bigger projects in all of the metaverse NFT, in this next, I guess we'll call it NFT 2.0 going forward. And it's built on open protocols. So it means everyone could access it. Everyone could own their data and participate and build out together. So it's not just them building it and you using it. It's part of the creating content within that metaverse too. So you could own a part of it and build in it. So this is kind of like that Web3 Internet of Value, all along the same line. So I think it's exciting because it falls in with the vision of what, Ripple set out in the very beginning, was the Internet of Value. And this really depicts that, I think, really well.
What I think they want everyone to understand is that they are not building the metaverse, but we are building the metaverse. So it is the people that are bringing their ideas to utilize their infrastructure and their tools is what's going to build the metaverse.
I think you're right on the money, because they're just providing the tools and the infrastructure and the protocols for then everyone else to be able to build on top of that. So they're basically in this bootstrapping process right now. So it really, they've created a really cool ecosystem to begin with, but XRP is going to be the gas token that's used for the block rewards of the network. So that means the validators of the network will earn XRP. And separating the native staking token from the gas token, I think, is important. And that allows for Root, the native token, to have more value, because it doesn't have to simultaneously act as a gas token too. It could just be staked, and then XRP is the liquidity and the base gas token. And that will be automatically swapped in the background. And this really leads into the AMM, which they're integrating directly into, allows for how many more pairings to get built out now. So you have a Root pairing to XRP. Then you'll have the ASTR, which is the AI token, and then the siloed XRP. So it's part of this build out of a broader ecosystem of these AMMs anyone can tap into, especially if it's two decentralized tokens.
Problems we looked at was liquidity. If you're establishing a new network, being able to source liquidity and provide liquidity for transactions in the network is a really big user experience thing. Liquidity, it turns out, is one of the biggest user experience hurdles in Web3. And so instead of trying to solve that ourselves, we partnered up with the XRPL and have integrated XRP into the network. So the network uses a really interesting system for paying gas, which both solves the user experience issue for new users, but also the liquidity issue. And in doing that, we're able to bring new users in a frictionless way, but also provide people like block producers with true value out of the gate. And so how that works is we designed inside the network runtime a thing called a multi-token gas fee exchange. And it means that if you're an application developer and you onboard your user into your game or your application, and you have your own unique token, the user only needs to know about that. In the same way, when they onboard into World of Warcraft, they just have to know about World of Warcraft Gold. They don't have to go and find the gas behind World of Warcraft Gold and buy some of that to make a transaction. They just have to know about your thing. And so the users can pay with that, and this gas fee exchange will automatically swap that in the background for XRP to pay the network gas, and the block rewarders will receive those tokens as a reward. And so we get to solve liquidity because XRP has great liquidity. Block producers get real rewards that are valuable from day one, and users don't have to think about the gas in the network.
Will it be swapped on the XRPL DEX? Is that how it's swapping?
Yeah, so we have, there are two kinds of DEX functions in the network. The one that's active now is a native runtime, which does that initial swap. And then we have an AMM. And in our design, the AMM is linked to the XRP upcoming AMM. So we're waiting for that to drop, and so that we can source liquidity from XRPL's AMM and put that into our Root Network AMM.
Oh, that's great. People are going to love to hear that.
So being able to have EVM smart contracts that developers don't have to worry about the lower layers to build. They just could easily spin out their applications with a simple Web 2 experience and then integrate all this in. And I think Web 3, if it's going to gain adoption in crypto and blockchain, we got to abstract away some of these more complex underneath low-level protocols. So they don't even know that they're really using the AMM, but underneath it, the application is just using it going forward. But the XRP ledger, as we've heard recently, had, what was it, something like 800,000 NFTs. It was doing more than Solana. So the
Correct.
XLSD standard, so NFTs that are not smart contract based on the XRP ledger, will be able to be used on the root network easily. So it's like an attachment, like Crypto Eddie said, it's like a layer 2. So you think of it as complementary, and more use cases can develop there and more applications, which is lacking.
Right. They're laser focused on making sure that the user experience, of course, is fantastic, and the technology should be invisible.
So the beta root network is currently live. You could see it on there right now, but Aaron gave us some hints that it looks like they are imminent on an announcement for a date for the launch of the root token, which is going to be something that will be earned from providing utility to the network or work to the network or something of value to drive network adoption. And it's not going to be something that's going to be just airdropped for free because you got there early. This is something that everyone will contribute value to, the way that networks are formed, and there are the values in the protocol. So if people are using the protocol, using the network, building applications on it, and staking the native token, then that token will ultimately have value. But there's no token sale that I'm aware of, and it will evolve to support the requirements of the Futureverse platform. So that's phase 2. And then I think phase 3 is when it's a launch. So that's expected to happen fairly soon, but we don't have a date yet.
Right.
Well, how can I collect root tokens, right? So root token will be used as a reward to encourage the community to help test the root network. So there'll be different challenges and different storyline campaigns that you could participate in that will earn you root tokens. So expect a lot of these to come out as they launch. So it'll be a direct, like Crypto Eddie said, participation that will really allow you to earn the asset.
Yeah.
And this was originally called mycelium, and they changed the name. So
I didn't know that. Yeah.
Yeah. So if they come across any old documentation that uses the term mycelium, that was the original name for the root token, and now it's just called root. So it's $ROOT.
That was confusing to me. So you're the first person to make that clear. I didn't understand that.
Yeah. There's another token on somewhere Ethereum layer 2 that had the name already. And honestly, I like root token better.
Yeah.
I just think it goes with the whole name of root network, which, we don't have any NFT really platforms that are built for metaverse that are layer 1s. This is a rare feat to be able to launch something like this with this many, technologies, and then partners with Ripple and integration with Ethereum. So that means that people could take their Bored Apes and any NFTs there and move right on seamlessly to the root network. So it should be, hopefully, a very, large ecosystem that develops going forward. And we'll be there from day one.
Yeah, I think they're positioned to be very, very successful. I think what they do is they probably, identify projects out there that are worthy of being invested into, and then they put them into that incubator of the outlier ventures. I would guess that's how they incubate those projects. What do you think?
I think so too. And that outlier has a great reputation, and that's how they bring on these developers, and they coordinate to where they understand the technologies that are integrated natively, so they could build better, more composable applications and protocols that make the whole ecosystem better. So if you're going to build an application, you need to know to take advantage of what is unique about the root network, and having incubators like Outlier, who's pretty big, and they're also a VC. So they have that really has a lot of ties within the broader crypto space. And as we know, we're in like the build out phase right now. Building, it might not be noticeable on the surface, but underneath it, there's a massive amount of building that's taking place. And that's what the bear markets are ideal for. So this is when all the projects who are going to be around for a long time build and then prepare for the time that's coming in the future.
Right. This is builder season for sure.
Builder season, yes.
Yeah.
So thank you, Crypto Eddie, for inviting me to be a part of this discussion and introduction to the community of a brand new ecosystem that's giving more utility to XRP and the XRP ledger. And we'll be going live soon. And this was just a basic overview. So it's complex technology. It's a large tech stack. We don't have all the details, and we will be updated in the future. And I'll be putting out more content on this, and hopefully Crypto Eddie and I will do an update, in a month or so, or whenever they go live with the Root Network, and maybe we could talk to Aaron again. But I'm very confident in this project, and I'm very bullish on it for XRP. And I think the community should embrace it as utility for XRP and expanding it, as participation is what drives the adoptions of these networks and these assets.
I couldn't agree more. Thank you so much, Mickey B, for joining me today, and I look forward to our next discussion.
Thank you for having me. It was an honor, and I look forward to it too.
All right. Bye-bye.
The Root Network must be nearing, though, as the team have now spun up a dedicated Twitter page with a picture of Groot poised above the Go button. So be sure to give them a follow, because many of the public announcements will be made through this Twitter page. And finally, it was fun to see Jamie Burke of Outlier Ventures AMA as his fluff in augmented reality. How cool is this?
Is a streaming protocol that allows for what they call live holographic augmented reality. And this is one of the first augmented reality Q&As that's ever been performed live, and something you can only really do by leveraging the Rounds technology.
Thanks very much for watching. If you enjoy this content, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and maybe consider watching one of my other videos. Bunnies up!